Welcome to EV.me. Zane won't be joining us for this episode, but he'll definitely be here for the next. With all the recent Eskom power cuts, we thought it would be interesting to do an episode on the cost of going solar to charge your electric vehicle. It's not as much as you would think, so stay tuned to find out more. Well, let's get started. The bulk of the cost to charge your electric vehicle through solar will be determined by the number of panels required. This calculation, of course, would then depend on the size of the vehicle's battery, which would depend on the type of EV that you have. But for the purpose of this particular exercise, let's use the BMW i3, as it is currently the most sold electric vehicle in South Africa with a battery capacity of 33 kilowatts. This is for the 2018 model. So, with that in mind, how many solar panels do you think we would need to charge this BMW? Well, to figure this out, we would need to look at the amount of energy that an individual solar panel can produce. So although this will depend on the type of solar panel, it is fairly safe to say that in South Africa, the average 250 watt solar panel can produce 1 kilowatt a day. That would then imply that we would need to install as many as 33 solar panels to generate electricity to power your BMW each day, which is a lot. But of course, this then assumes that you're starting the charging process with a battery totally drained of electricity, and this seldomly would be the case. This is because the average driver in South Africa only travels about 60 kilometers a day, which equates to about 11 kilowatts per day. So that's quite a lot to take in, but the important thing to remember is that if you're driving 60 kilometers, that's going to equate to 11 kilowatt hours per day. I was in two minds of explaining this further, but I think it is important to understand how I got to that 11 kilowatts per day. Well, this is based on the efficiency of the BMW i3, which can drive 100 miles using 30 kilowatt hours of energy. This is based on their spec sheet. But to put that in the context of South Africa, where we use kilometers, this translates to 30 kilowatt hours per 160 kilometers, or 0.18 kilowatt hours per kilometer. So if you multiply that 0.18 by 60 kilometers, you get to that 11 kilowatt hours. I hope that's not too much info to take in, but the efficiency of electric vehicles plays as an important role as that of the efficiencies of petrol and diesel engines. Okie dokie, so where do we go from here? Well, this means we would need 11 solar panels, as each solar panel is providing 1 kilowatt hour per day. But let us just play it safe and let's just make that 12 solar panels. At the risk of stating the obvious, these calculations are based on the fact that when you're not driving your 60 kilometers for the day, the vehicle is plugged in, which might get you thinking whether it's not more prudent to charge a separate array of batteries during the day and then charge the electric vehicle at night. And of course, that would be a very good question, but a large amount of one's sunk cost is already in the batteries of the electric vehicle. To now reinvest in an entirely new set of batteries, which will most likely be inferior to the qualities of the one in your vehicle, doesn't make financial sense. What is quite interesting is that in Australia they have overcome this problem by allowing households to feed solar energy back into the grid during peak hours during the day and then charge their electric vehicle at night using the lower tariffs. Who knows, we might get there at some point here in South Africa. But in the meantime, when Eskom does cut the power, if you do hook your vehicle up to the household switchboard, the battery in the BMW i3 would comfortably run your average household for days. So, before I digress any further, we haven't met the objective of this episode, which is to calculate the cost. So let's have a look at some of the prices of solar panels here in South Africa. You could actually easily order them off Takealot. You're not going to get the best price, but it would be quick and they would deliver. Nevertheless, for the purpose of this exercise, I think we should use a more competitive but achievable price points here in the country. we're looking at an average cost of about 1,300 Rand per panel. So we would need to times this by 12, and this would bring us to a price point of 15,600 Rand. So to effectively handle 12 panels, one would need a decent controller/inverter. I've pegged this at about 4,000 Rand, and then of course there's installation, which I'm estimating at about 10,000 Rand. This brings us to a total of approximately 30,000 Rand. So to put this in perspective, this system to charge your vehicle will provide you with 11 kilowatt hours per day. But let's say that every day is not going to be a sunny day. This of course will depend on where you are in the country, but let's take 290 days out of the year where you'll definitely get a minimum of 11 kilowatt hours. So if we take this 290 days times by 11 kilowatt hours, this gives us 3,190 kilowatts a year. This system, I estimate, will last a minimum of 20 years, which will give you 63,000 kilowatt hours. So what does this mean? This means that the cost per kilowatt hour is going to be 47 cents, which is considerably cheaper than what you would be paying Eskom. That was quite technical, but if you enjoyed watching this and found it interesting, please push the subscribe button, and we look forward to providing you with more in the next episode. Ciao for now.